of his family to pay 1 million naira ransom as bail for his release from their custody. The rogue officers unknowingly started negotiating the ransom money with the DPO through the boy's phone, thinking he was the victim's father. And the DPO, who pretended to be the young man's father, took his men and met them at Alu in the bush, where the police officers kept the young man, expecting to receive the ransom money. They were immediately disarmed and arrested by the DPO. Shockingly, they came from a police formation in Port Harcourt town in Borokiri axis, while the mother of the kidnapped victim also confirmed that the rogue policemen who abducted his son were detained by the DPO. The abduction of the young man for 1 million naira ransom happened barely 24 hours after the Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Wandisu, advised members of the public to video policemen on duty and surface them online, and also asked policemen not to be shy or angry but to wear smiles while being recorded on video. The police public relations officer in Rivers State, Grace Ringe Koko, is yet to make any statement on the matter. Rivers State Police Command is appealing to the general also advise all and sundry that adequate security measures have been put in place to ensure that they enjoy a hitch-free celebration. The statement also said the police command counts on the unwavering support and cooperation of Rivers people and residents, and urge all to be security conscious and alert, and kindly requested residents to report all suspicious elements to the police using the following security numbers: 0803 200 3514, 0802 891 5460, 0803 621 9523. Fire crew members of the Nigerian Air Force M1 MI-35P helicopter had crashed in Port Harcourt after the aircraft took off for an operation against economic saboteurs in Rivers State. Luckily, the entire crew of 5 survived the crash with very minor injuries and are currently being attended to at NAF Medical Center, Port Harcourt. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gatquet, when the chief and praying profusely in the viral video, said his wife had been devastated and called for help for the rescue of his beloved children. The police in Abia State is yet to make any statement on the missing children. Governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, has inaugurated the 17 local government transition council chairpersons with a charge to evolve programs that align.
According to him, that these are billionaires. If you're a billionaire, is it the little money that comes to the local government that will satisfy you? Do you understand? So that is the, although if you look at the number of the 17 persons, at least there must be 1 or 2 persons who definitely have the good intention. Looking at how big or how swollen their pockets are, at least amongst the 17, the number of persons whose intention may be very bad, may be minimal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So the good intention is there. It depends on individuals. We are human beings first before we became whoever we became. So actions are taken at the executive level, executive council level. This is what we want to do. We want to increase the salaries of the civil servants. We want to ensure that pensions and arrears are being paid, and salary arrears are being paid.
And an inspector of police at Ahia Junction in Ahia Zumbi, say by disgruntled elements suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its armed militia Eastern Security Network, and the subsequent confessions of suspects arrested at the scene by police operatives in synergy with the military. Operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit stormed the camp of the criminal syndicate at Umohie in Ngokbala local government area of Imo State, and dislodged its environment, stressing that investments will be channeled to go to where the risks are less and where return on investment is high. This is coming after Governor harped on synergic in regional cooperation for economic development, saying his people could only get respect outside their land proportionate to the socio-economic growth in their own homeland. They urge the Igbo to think home while emphasizing that the long-term security of Igbo investments could only be guaranteed in their homeland. In his remarks, Governor Bahu recalled how Dr. Michael Obara turned the eastern region economy around by assembling eminent personalities such as constitute the Enugu Investors Network, and promised that the narratives of insecurity and territory, while Lagos converted swampy lands to habitable places. Socio-political group Ondo State Redemption Initiative says that despite the efforts of President Bola Tinubu to restore peace in Ondo State, some individuals have embarked on moves to frustrate the peaceful truce brokered by the president and enjoined all to obey the peace accord. The group specifically expressed displeasure about the moves by some declaring total resistance to the peaceful solution preferred by the president. A statement jointly signed by its chairman in All Progressive Congress won all 38 chairmanship and 177 councillorship seats in Saturday's council elections in Ekiti State. The Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission may design the results of the various council areas at the headquarters. Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission Chairman retired Justice Cornelius Akintayo applauded the electorate in Ekiti for peaceful conduct of the election and also commended parties that took part in the election for their sportsmanship. This is coming after prominent opposition parties like the People's Democratic Party and the Social Democratic Party had earlier declared their disregard in the council elections. Suspected gunmen allegedly attacked the residence of INEC resident electoral commissioner in a gun battle, and the police in Kogi State is yet to make any statements on the matter. As part of effort to mitigate the negative, the state government has declared its commitment to cut down a supply chain distribution of harmful drugs that is detrimental to livelihood of the citizens across 23 local government areas of the state. The government also said the prevalence of drug and substance abuse in Nigeria is considerably high despite the country's adoption of the national drug policy since 1990 to guard against inadequacies in drug availability, supply and distribution. In northwest Nigeria, drugs and substance abuse and women, while stressing the need for collaboration to tackle the menace in the society.
We see substance abuse and drug abuse as a key challenge that is affecting the lives of not just families, but entire communities and society. And it has affected the young population group. Our women are increasingly getting involved, and this is a huge challenge.
So that they don't really go back to those areas. We have children abusing various substances, and it breaks my heart, to see that kind of.
Who involve penetrated monumental fraud.
Giants that APC has come to stay in the South region.
National Vice Chairman of the APC South Zone, Mr. Victor Gadam, in his address said his visit is necessary to declare support for the Senate President and to assure the party of more election victory in the South Zone.
Of our party members and teaming supporters in the region.
Minister of Interior Lubumi Tunji Ojo has approved the promotion of 32,361 personnel from the agencies under the supervision of the ministry. The minister who disclosed this said the board approved the promotion of 4,498 personnel of the Nigerian Correctional Service, 4,598 personnel of the Nigerian Immigration Service, 1,680 of the Federal Fire Service, and 21,385 workers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Mr. Tunji Ojo also said achieving the milestone is unprecedented in recent years and highlighted the government's unalloyed commitment to the welfare of the officers, stressing that the feat, which remains unprecedented in the history of paramilitary service in Nigeria, is evidence of the commitment of the
basic rules and regulations guiding your training in the Nigerian Defense Academy, and physically fit gentlemen for service to our dear nation.
So the special guest of honor, who is the Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, Ahmed Galadima, who was represented by Zubairu Surajo, said the hunger for excellent and effective time to national duty is combating numerous security challenges are key towards restoring the confidence of Nigerians.
Integrity of Nigeria, like other nations of the world, is continually.
Cadets, including allied cadets from Gambia, were matriculated in various corps and departments in building their military career. Academic Staff Union of Universities, Bauchi Zone, has rejected the students' loan scheme of the federal government in Bauchi Zonal Coordinator. There are a number of students who are distressed. The federal government has taken over the second Niger bridge from the contractor Julius Berger. This comes 6 months after it was commissioned by the immediate past administration of President Muhammad Buhari on May 23rd. The Minister of Works, David Omahi, who disclosed this shortly after he was conducted around the bridge by the managing director of Julius Berger, Dr. Lars Richter, said he was satisfied with the level of work done. FCT Yesumwike to spend 15 billion naira for the construction of the befit Assad's Senate authority and constitutional oversight roles to reject the 2.8 billion naira on publicity for the FCTA and the proposed wasteful and unnecessary. President Bola Tinubu, in the later signed by Sarah, the tax liabilities, chairman of the service, Zach Adediji, who disclosed this in a notice personally signed by him through his special advisor on media, Dari Adekanbi, said the agency imposes penalties and interest for failure by companies to fulfill their tax obligations. Said the forgiveness of piled up penalties and interest was in recognition of the challenges that many taxpayers have faced in settling their outstanding tax liabilities, stressing that the concession also syncs with the commitment of President Bola Tinubu before the 31st of December this year must be done by companies wishing to benefit from the peculiar concession, noting that taxpayers are advised that the waiver Abubakar says he is not a beneficiary of the federal government restatement of integrated logistics services Nigeria Limited, both pilotage monitoring business. This is coming after the Nigerian Port Authority, in a letter by Port Manager Charles Okaga, dated November 30th, addressed to all shipping companies, announced the reinstatement of Intels as the authority's service boat operation monitoring provider in the pilotage district. Atiku, who debunked this in a statement via his official Facebook page, explained that he sold his shares in Intel in January 2021 to All-in Investment Group, the parent company of Intel, and the phased sale of those shares that commenced in 2018. Effect in December 2021. That a different entity now owns those shares he sold. He also described the insinuation that he is a beneficiary of the decision to rescind the cancellation of the contract between Intel and the federal government as untrue and mischievous. Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress in Osun State, Mr. Olatunbosun Oyintoleye, has commended President Bola Tinubu for approving 50% reduction in the cost of agricultural inputs for the farmers in the country ahead of the commencement of dry season farming. Oyintoleye is in production, thereby boosting food availability at affordable prices for the people. Speaking in Oshogbo, Oyintoleye recalled that the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, had on November 25th said that the federal government would support 250,000 wheat farmers with a 50% input subsidy to cultivate about 250,000 hectares during the dry season. The ex-lawmaker, who was party to the defunct APC presidential campaign, whom a called on President Tinubu, said, as a huge beneficiary of judicial pronouncement and rule of law, he should reverse his decision and allow the flow of foreign direct investment into the country. You're still watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Here is the international tidbit. Nigeria is rallying West African nations to collectively enhance regional security as part of its agenda as ECOWAS chair. This formed a key highlight of the report presented at the ongoing 2023 second ordinary section of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja. Presenting the report, Nigerian Representative Linda Ikazo said the country wants the harmonization of the regional security agenda get towards a mutual linked security goals. According to Ikazo, given the transitional nature of threats, non-military peace efforts would take priority over an overly militarized approach to security, adding that military approach has had the unintended effect of the protracted armed conflict across West Africa. She referenced President Bola Tinubu's prioritization of security in his ECOWAS vision, quoting his words that without a peaceful environment, progressive and development in the region will continue to remain elusive. ECOWAS Parliament Speaker Sidie Tunis, who presided over the session, attended by delegations, also pushed for regional cohesion against terrorism and transnational crimes threatening West Africa's economic progress. Kanye West is not in the mood to return to Los Angeles after reuniting with his new wife, Bianca Censori, in Dubai. The couple have no plans to come back to the States for now, as they are seen partying with friends at a pop-up fashion event. Kanye believed that his ex-wife Kim Kardashian may fly their children out so he could spend some time with them. Meanwhile, Kanye and Bianca's reunion came up amid split claims after the latter's trip to Melbourne. Flag bearer of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential polls, Mr. Peter Obi, has criticized Nigeria's 1,411-member delegation to the ongoing United Nations Climate Summit in Dubai. A statement via his X account, Obi congratulated the giant of Africa, Nigeria, for matching the Great China with the same number of contingents at the COP28 in Dubai. Obi queried the rationale behind the huge contingent attending the summit at public expense when most of them hardly understand or have anything to do with the climate change, even as most Nigerians can hardly afford food and basic needs. The former Anambra State Governor hoped a day will come soon, even enough when Nigeria can focus on competing with China on productivity and the miracle of migrating the highest number of citizens out of poverty. Nigerian studying in the United Kingdom, Onyedika Oriako, has been jailed after he raped a woman in the ladies' toilet of busy nightclub and went on to brag about it on his friends and took one back to show them where he committed the horrific crime. Mr. Riaku. The prosecuting officer told Swansea Crown Court that the attack took place at the Fiction nightclub in Swansea City Centre in March 2023 and heard how Oriako and a group of other men were in the VIP area of the nightclub, where he and a woman had been kissing. The woman, described as heavily intoxicated, later went to the toilet and Oriako followed her, where he had raped her in one of the cubicles. The rape was later reported to the police. While the statement read out in court, the victim spoke of the severe impact the attack has had on her mental health and life, and the judge also described the defendant's account of why he returned to the toilet with another male as fanciful beyond belief, and he described the return to the lavatories as sinister. Judge Walters described what Oriako did in the toilet as truly shameful and noted he had shown no remorse for his actions. Oriako was sentenced to 7 years in prison and must serve two-thirds before being killed, and 9 occurred in a gymnasium at the Mindanao State University in Marawi, and the university said it was deeply saddened and appealed by the senseless and horrific violence. While in 2017, the city was the scene of 5-month battle between government forces and militants with links to the Islamic State.